there, my skeptics and believers and everyone in between? Welcome back to another episode of Ghosts in the Machine. This time, we're searching for a creature that's roaming around a zoo in Amarillo, Texas. Arr, arr, arr. Let's go to a news clip and see what's going on with this story.
Well, some stranger things are afoot in the Panhandle, y'all, specifically in Amarillo, where officials want the public's help in figuring out whatever this thing is. Look at that. A security camera captured a very bizarre figure walking outside the Amarillo Zoo. City authorities say this image is real. They are baffled, so they are now asking for public input via social media.
Don't you worry, Amarillo, Texas Zoo. I got your back. Me, Skeptical Inquirer, we're going to figure this out. And you can sleep peacefully at night. You won't have to worry about any creatures or chupacabras or anything like that. We're going to figure this out. So the first thing I want to say is that this is not the zoo putting it out there as like a serious media ploy to like exploit something. They're having fun with it. Yeah, they're going to get attention for it. They're obviously getting attention because it's been shared hundreds of times, and I'm seeing it all over my social media feed because I look at weird shit like this. So, but I want to quote the director of Parks and Recreation, Michael Kashuba. And he was quoted in an article in the U.S. Sun saying, "We just want to let the Amarillo community have some fun with this." And that's all he's doing. He's having some fun. They have a picture. They don't know what it is. And they put it out there to have some fun. And a lot of the comments are having fun with it, calling it anything from like Sonic the Hedgehog to, what else? A chupacabra. Because, you know, of course people are saying that's what it is. And there's other stuff. People are taking it more seriously, though, calling it like a skinwalker. And then other things like a werewolf, like a real life werewolf, which... werewolves are not real life, but okay. But anyway, in this episode, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a closer look. We're going to try and figure it out. We're going to come to some conclusions, and let's just get started. All right, so the first thing we have to do is look at the type of camera that is being used. So when we put the picture up, the full-size picture, we can read on the bottom right of the screen that this is a SpyPoint Link Micro LTE camera. Now, there's two versions. There is a regular version, which takes, I think, 8 AA batteries, and then there is the solar version, which has a lithium battery in there that's rechargeable, and it's the camera itself has a little solar panel. So in basic terms, this is a trail cam. This is not your regular security camera that's hooked up to like a home base. This is a trail cam. That's what's being used. And from the reviews that I've found so far, this is a crappy kind of camera. Most of the time it doesn't work for these people that are putting these things up. So they're used mostly to track wildlife and to see deer and other animals and see what time of day that they're in certain areas. I know people put feeders out and then try to capture the wildlife and just see what's going on. But according to a lot of these hunting websites and trail cam websites, this is a really bad camera. It's not only has problems because it uses cellular service. It uses a signal to send pictures to your phone. It still does record on to an SD card, like a micro SD card, but it has the option of sending pictures directly to your phone. So if you wanted to set it up around your house and keep security, you can. Most of the images are not that great. I think you have an option from like 2 megapixel up to 10 megapixel, but you have to request like a high definition, an HD version of the picture. And there's a monthly subscription or yearly subscription price. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. So it's a trail cam that's being used. I know that there is a half-second delay, at least a half-second delay between when it senses something moving and then when it is taking the picture, when the camera wakes up from sleep mode and takes the picture. Now, trail cams are notorious for blurry pictures, for motion blur, because they're just not they're not good cameras. They're made for withstanding weather, not really for taking portrait photography. So when you have them outside, especially when they're using the night vision. So this one, I believe it has 4 IR LEDs, so 4 infrared lights. Let me check that. Actually, I just checked it, and as you'll see over here, it does have 4 power LEDs. So that's what it uses to see in the dark, basically. And it has a flash range of up to 24 meters, it says. But that's I think that's about 80 feet. And we're talking like effective range. We're talking like this is that's the max that it might be able to see something, but it's not going to be clear. I want to make that clear to us that just because something is 80 feet away, it's not going to come up clear. It's not going to come up in like sharp detail. These things are notorious for really horrible pictures. And I know I've said that before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it a lot of times in the future, because they suck. They really do. And the flash range, I don't know if this is more for daytime or nighttime. It doesn't really say. The website for SpyPoint is not really good with the technical details. It's got a little some specs, but it doesn't tell you like for shutter speed. It doesn't tell you what kind of shutter speed we're talking about here. And from some of the pictures that I've seen on the reviews, it's a very slow shutter. So we're talking maybe like a third of a second, half a second, some of these, which can contribute to the image that we actually see of this weird creature. One of the things I wanted to also point out is that this camera, this trail cam, does not take video. There's only a snapshot, and there is no video. There's no extra shots of this thing. So all we have is this. That's it. That's all we have to work on. But considering all the information that we have about this camera and the quality, the lack of quality of the image, and how bad they are with slow shutter and taking blurry images, it's completely possible that this is a wild animal that's outside of the fence of the zoo that had wandered around almost like 1:30 in the morning on this night, and maybe was jumping around or hunting, trying to get some food, and the delay on the camera when it woke up, by the time it took a picture, it took a very, very slow shutter, very long exposure, and it caught it's called motion blur. That's basically what it is. An animal was moving at the time the picture was taken, and you have this motion blur. So that's what I think it is. But now let's look at the wildlife. Let's see what wanders around in Amarillo, Texas. So my first step, which is actually my second step, because first step was the camera. Second step is looking up wildlife, local wildlife. And that's what I put in Google. I Googled it, local wildlife. And this is what comes up. So I brought up the visitamarillo.com website. And as you can see here, when we go down, it says the Great Plains of the Texas Panhandle are full of wildlife, allowing hunters and fishers an opportunity for many types of experiences. The wide expanse surrounding Amarillo is home to whitetail and mule deer, and an antelope and sheep and turkey and a whole bunch of other stuff, including coyotes. Now, the two guesses that I had, the two things that popped into my mind were either deer or coyotes, because I'm used to deer. I live in Pennsylvania, so I see deer all the time. I mean, I literally see them like a few blocks away when I'm walking at night. I get to see them through the park. So I was trying to compare them, and I'm going to throw this up on screen and show you the creature, the Amarillo Creature, and then I'm going to show you the back legs of a deer. And they look similar. They look pretty similar. But the more I thought about it when I saw this, when I saw the list of local wildlife, I was like, well, a coyote, that might be just as close and might fit this a little bit better. Because when I put like pictures of jumping or leaping coyotes, it really kind of looks like that. So my guess, and this is a guess, based on all the information that we have, which is not a lot. We have one snapshot. That's it. But we know the local wildlife. We know the most of the specs of the camera and how they work. So this, to me, actually looks like a coyote. It probably was jumping, maybe jumping over the fence, or maybe it was playing, because I have seen videos of coyotes just playing and jumping around. So maybe this was jumping and it kind of did one of those weird backflips where it didn't mean to, and it just did. And it was just at that moment that the trail cam took that picture on. So that's about it. The conclusion that I can come to right now, based on the information that we have so far, which is probably 1/3 of a second or a half a second photograph. That's it. And then the background information about the wildlife in the area. Our conclusion, or my conclusion, is that it's most likely a coyote or similar animal like that. Just because of the back legs, which if it's jumping and or landing during a long exposure, those back legs would probably be in place the longest out of everything. Because if it's jumping up, or maybe it was startled and it jumped up and on its back to like actually turn or jump back or something like that. You know how animals like kind of freak out. The back legs would probably be there the longest. And we're talking in fractions of a second here. So that's why they look pretty decent in the image, and the rest of it looks all messed up. Especially if we're talking a coyote that is lots of fur all over it. It's going to mesh together and blur together, and you're not going to know what it is. So, I mean, in the end, we're never going to know exactly what it is, but this is the most plausible explanation for it. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video, you liked the technique, maybe going through some of the steps that I did. If you did, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, check out the other videos on this channel, because there's a lot of good stuff here, a lot of good content. So check it out, and then I will see you on the next episode of Ghosts in the Machine. And other than that, never stop learning. See ya.